me now is Senator Tim Kaine, Democrat of Virginia and a member of the Senate Armed Services Committee. Senator, thank you for joining us tonight. Perfect timing with you as a member of the Senate Armed Services Committee and the breaking news that the president will attend this meeting of military officers the defense secretaries called for this week in your home state of Virginia. The news follows the president's declaration that he's sending federal troops to Portland, Oregon, to allegedly protect ICE facilities from protesters. What's your reaction to both of these developments, Senator?
Reverend Sharpton, great to be back with you always. The president is doing everything except what he told the American public he would do. We've got food prices going up, school supply prices going up, building supply prices going up, healthcare costs going up, energy costs going up. This president said he'd bring down inflation. He's not doing it. Instead, he's going after political enemies, retribution campaign against Letitia James and James Comey. Can I give $20 billion to Argentina because they're my friends? But what is he doing to deal with the issues that everyday people are struggling with? And I think this notion that I'm going to deploy troops to Portland, and I have family in Portland who say, what? I think the president described Portland as war-ravaged, and they're like, what the hell is this guy talking about? He is trying to endlessly distract from the fact that he can't focus on the job of keeping our country safe and keeping our economy prosperous.
Now, staying with that, Senator, does Trump really have the legal authority to use our troops for his domestic agenda? If not, who stops him? And how might seeing troops in the street impact public perception of the military for years to come?
Well, I really worry about that. One of my kids is in the military, Reverend Sharpton, and you know, if people who sign up for the military thinking they're going to be protecting the U.S. from foreign threats, God knows we need them. But people who sign up thinking that the job of the military is to go bust heads in American cities, A, folks who sign up for that mission, I'm nervous about them, and B, a whole lot of people won't sign up for that mission. We've got real threats abroad. The president is, even on the threats abroad, look at what the president's doing military strikes in the Caribbean and threatening military action in Venezuela, putting our troops in harm's way without even coming to Congress and explaining why it's necessary. I joined a letter of 25 senators nearly 3 weeks ago saying, why are you doing these strikes in the Caribbean? If you interdict narco traffickers, you seize the evidence, and then you use that evidence to go after more. If you bomb them, the evidence is destroyed, and you actually hurt the ability to go after narco traffickers. This president is all about spectacle and show, but again, with healthcare costs and everyday people suffering, he's ignoring the domestic politics that are so important to Virginians and to Americans right now.
The Senate returns to Washington tomorrow with little over a day to pass a short-term spending bill and avert a government shutdown. Top leaders from both chambers will meet with Trump tomorrow. He and Republicans have thus far refused to budge on Democrats' demand for health care subsidies. In the last hour, there was a caucus conference call of Senate Democrats. What can you tell us about that conversation, Senator, as the clock ticks down?
Reverend Sharpton, yeah, we had a conference call. Like, why has it taken the president so long? He directed the Republican majority to come up with a budget bill and, quote, not deal with Democrats. There was no Democratic input. The Democrats put an alternative on the table on September 18th. This was weeks ago now, September 18th, and we said, we want to do two things. First, we want you to say a deal is a deal. If we handshake on a deal, you won't start to rescind or take back or claw back money the next day. And second, most importantly, help us solve the problem you've created by slashing Medicaid and slashing premium subsidies in the Affordable Care Act. We've got Republicans saying we need to do this. Mike Johnson, John Cornyn, Josh Hawley, Lisa Murkowski. We've got to find a fix so that people don't see their premiums spike dramatically. And so what Democrats have put on the table, and Reverend Sharpton, it's not a demand, it's an alternative. We see your budget, but we got a different one that protects Americans' health care and ensures that a deal is a deal. Sit down with us. We asked the president for a meeting. He said he would do it. Then he turned it down and canceled it. Now he's going to do it again tomorrow. That's good. You can't say I'm president of the United States, but I don't want to meet with Congress. You can't say I'd like to play in the NFL, but I don't play on Sundays. I mean, you got to meet with Congress. That's why we didn't have a budget shutdown when Joe Biden was president. We had no shutdowns. We got up to deadlines, but President Biden would meet with Democratic and Republican congressional leaders, and we'd find a path forward. And Donald Trump's got to do the same thing.
All right, we're out of time, but I must ask you this last question for you to answer briefly, please. A Virginia judge will preside over James Comey's federal trial after his indictment by the Justice Department last week at Trump's demand. What do you make of the charges and how quickly they came down against the former FBI director after no career prosecutor would bring them previously?
These charges are as thin as I've ever seen, Reverend Sharpton. I practiced law as a civil rights lawyer in the Eastern District of Virginia for 17 years. I've never seen anything like this, and the president's pressuring his appointee, Eric Siebert, to bring charges. Eric Siebert showed his backbone and said, I'm not bringing charges that have no basis. But he found a Florida lawyer with no connection to Virginia and no prosecutorial experience who would bring him. I think it'll blow up in the Trump administration's face.
Senator Tim Kaine, thank you for being with us this evening. Up next, I have an invitation